And moving down the display, it takes us to these figures here. We're seeing here more figures from 2008. And again, it was at this time that Todd kind of renames his series where he just, rather than calling it NFL Series 17, he just calls it 2008 NFL Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, but otherwise known as NFL Series 17. And then you see down here are some NFL legends from Series 4. And just again to give you just some perspective and background here, again Todd at this point is gone back to the, as we saw over here, the cardboard packaging with the clamshell, and then also the tweaks rather than the jersey variation. So more of that over here with this Reggie Bush figure. Again, clean jersey and pants is the tweak. The dirty one's the regular. This Brett Favre, again, I know this sounds odd, but there's no C patch on his jersey, the captain's patch. That makes it the Chase tweak figure. The one that has the C patch is the regular. Here, Randy Moss, the Patriots. It's the red armband tweak Chase figure. The regular has white armbands. Willie Parker, former Steelers running back, same deal here. He's got the black armbands, where I believe the tweak has him, that's the tweak I should say, the Chase. The regular has him with white armbands. Tony Romo. No, actually on the corrected, you can't see it in there, but actually you can. The Romo packaging there. Remember we saw Joseph Adai in the Tony Romo package. Well, this is Tony Romo in the Tony Romo package. And I believe the tweak on him was the clean uniform as opposed to the dirty. And then same thing, this is Jamarcus Russell here. Clean uniform makes it the tweak as opposed to dirty. And yes, that's Jamarcus Russell. For those who follow football and know, former number 1 overall pick in 2007. One of the biggest draft busts of all time. But again, just consider your time frame here, guys. I bought this figure in 2008. When at that time, Russell was considered a rising star in the future of the Raiders organization at quarterback, which clearly, he wasn't. And then move on to some Series 4 Legends figures. This is a legendary Steelers lineman Jack Lambert. Clean jersey is a tweak there as opposed to dirty. Oh, I'm sorry, no. With Lambert, it's the gray face mask. Gray face mask is a tweak there. And I believe the white face mask is a regular. Howie Long, only one version of him. No tweak or Chase version on that one. Down here, Warren Moon with the blue sleeves. White sleeves of the reg, blue sleeves of the tweak Chase figure. Kind of a cool figure. Joe Montana, clean jersey as opposed to dirty. Clean jersey being the tweak. John Riggins, same thing, clean jersey there as a tweak. And Fran Tarkenton, you can see there he's got white sleeves, if you can spot them under his football uniform, which makes it the tweak. Again, before I move away and show you some more figures on the display here, just again, little comment about these figures here, the tweaks, and again, you see how Todd changes things up. He changes the packaging, he changes how he's doing Chase figures with the tweaks and the dirties versus clean, the armbands. And once again, many changes came down the pike when Todd was doing these over the years. And some changes you like, some you didn't. Once again, did I like having the Fran Tarkenton with white sleeves as opposed to purple sleeves be the Chase figure? Not really. But this is the direction Todd went in for at least a year, maybe two. And then he went back to doing the regular Chase figures again with the jersey variations. So once again, you just see different changes in the lines. Some things worked, some things didn't. I'm glad Todd didn't stick with this for too long, because I think a lot of collectors, not just myself, but a lot of collectors didn't particularly care for this. And I think most of us were grateful when Todd went back to doing the regular jersey chases as opposed to these tweaks. Also getting back to the all plastic packaging as opposed to the cardboard packaging with the clamshell affixed on it, of which, again, when you look at the corners here, very easily damaged. Bent corners on the top of this packaging. A guy like me who collects mint package made it very challenging to find mint figures. So moving down to the foot with this display, we're seeing a continuation of the football down here that I was showing you, the 2008/NFL 17 ones, and then more football up here and then basketball up top. Before we get to these, I want to just kind of finish out what we started here. This is a continuation of 2008 figures I was just showing you down here. You can see by the packaging. Let me just start here with this Tom Brady. That's the clean version, the clean tweak Chase version there, clean uniform. The regular is a dirty. Two versions of Devin Hester. Bears return man. I think this guy should be in the Hall of Fame someday. I really do. There's a regular white armbands. There's the tweak with the blue armbands, and something even special here I want to show you guys. I'm going to pull this one out. Okay, you see the Bears logo on the side of his helmet there? On this one, there's no logo. Logo's missing. Another error figure there. Thank you, Jason and Kenny, for finding me that one. Really appreciate it. And then here, Brandon Jacobs. That's the tweak figure with the black gloves. The regular has him with red gloves. And then over here is Ben Roethlisberger, clean uniform, where the dirty uniform is the reg. This is the clean uniform tweak chase figure. Going to move on to showing you the Series 12 football figures here, and then the rest of the other figures in this display. Before I do so, though, just want to backtrack on that Hestra I showed you with the no logo on the helmet, and also that Joseph Addai error figure in the Tony Romo package. Yeah, again, Kenny and Jason are good friends of mine, local guys, and Jason, he has such an eye for detail. I mean, he'll spend 30 minutes in the action figure out just like looking over each figure meticulously. And Kenny and I have actually named Jason the Professor because of his uncanny eye for the smallest details. And yeah, he noticed that one had no logo, and he also noticed the error there. And once again, I want to stress that I can't thank those guys enough for that, for thinking of me and considering me and my collection. And once again, I wouldn't have this stuff if it wasn't for guys like Kenny and Jason, and the benefactors, Carm, JB, Mo, and Chad. It really, again, I can't thank those guys enough for just the little things like that. So thanks again, guys. Okay, so now the NFL Series 12. Bear in mind, these are from 2005, which predates, of course, these over here from 2008. So Todd is using the more traditional all-plastic packaging clamshell. And we started with LeVar Arrington, Reg in the dark figure, Chase in the white. Again, LeVar Arrington's kind of a Kendrell Bell type situation where you might not remember him, but he was a star the first 5 years in the league. Backstory on LeVar Arrington real quickly. He was a number 2 overall pick, the 2000 draft out of Penn State, a stud linebacker, made 3 Pro Bowls in his first 5 years in the league with Washington. And he was, top defender at this time, top defensive player. And then, kind of an odd thing, he decides to buy out his contract with Washington because he wasn't happy playing for them. Goes on to play for the New York Giants where he signs a fairly lucrative deal. And then only plays like in a handful of games for them. 5 or 6 games with the Giants. He gets injured and never to return to the NFL playing field. But his first 4 or 5 years in the league, he was a stud. 3-time Pro Bowl selection. There's Drew Brees. We all know, I think, who he is. Only one version of him, no jersey chase, but there are socks variations of him. This has the white sock with the blue stripes. There's a solid blue sock with like a white stripe in there. I don't remember which sock variation was the more rare one. There's Corey Dillon. He won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. Only one version of him. This is a Brett Favre chase. What makes it a chase? That towel draped across his shoulder. The regular does not have him with the towel. Reagan Chase, Marvin Harrison, Hall of Fame receiver. Reagan the white, Chase in the blue. Here's a Kevin Mawae, Jets center. Again, one of the rare centermen. Toys R Us exclusive. And LaDainian Tomlinson, again, socks variation on him. Same thing with the Breeze. This one has the white socks with the blue stripes. Moving up the same display, we see some football and basketball figures here. And these are Legends figures of retired players, the greats of the game. And both these waves of Legends, the football and the basketball, are the inaugural waves. That's NFL Legends Series 1 you're seeing there, as well as NBA Legends Series 1. And we'll start here with the NFL Legends Series 1. Our good buddy Troy Aikman from the Canton exclusive. Yes, I told you the Troy Aikman figure that I got at Canton, the exclusive figure. There is a regular, and there it is. And you see the differences. They're only subtle. No patch on the jersey. Basic packaging as opposed to special Canton packaging and the nameplate. But that's the basic version, as well as his blue version, blue jersey Chase version. John Elway, Reagan Chase, Reagan the orange, Chase in the white. I want to show you guys this Franco Harris figure. It's kind of special. First off, if you look at the pose there, and by the way, what I think is cool also is on these NFL Series 1 Legends, they put their years in the NFL. You see Franco 72 to 84, Aikman would play from 89 to 2000, Elway 83 to 98. I think that's cool. But getting back to Franco Harris, if you look at the pose there, yes, for those who know their football history, That pose is meant to recreate the Immaculate Reception, one of the biggest single plays in NFL playoff history. It happened in December of '72, which is a couple years before I was born, to beat the Raiders. That's what Harris is kind of reenacting there in that pose. And also something special about this figure. I had these Johnny Lightning cars along the edges, but I removed them for this one. You see it says Pittsburgh Steelers, with the R missing from Pittsburgh, the name of the city, Pittsburgh there. The early versions of the Franco Harris that were packed up in the first waves of NFL legends that went to retail and hobby stores had the erroneous Pittsburgh there, and then later on, Todd would correct it and put the R in there and make it Pittsburgh. But the early version with the Pittsburgh is considered the rare version. I guess you would say it's an error. Here's a man who needs no introduction, Lawrence Taylor. I mean, what did Bill Belichick say in that press conference? Talking about Lawrence Taylor, right? No, there's nobody compares to him. Not J.J. Watt, not Khalil Mack, not anybody. He's like the greatest of all time at his position, probably, I would think. Blue jersey Reg, white jersey Chase. Another great at his position, one of the greats of all time. Barry Sanders, Reg in the traditional blue, Chase in the Thanksgiving jersey there that you see him sporting with a different kind of helmet that the Lions wear on Thanksgiving for their annual Thanksgiving game. And then here we go, Johnny U. Yes, Johnny Unitas, Colts great quarterback. Regular blue, Chase in the white with the no helmet. Yeah, that was how they made the Chase version. White jersey, no helmet on Johnny U. Move upwards on the display here. We see the NBA Legends Series 1, the inaugural wave. And speaking of legends, here is Larry Legend himself, Mr. Bird. Regular version in the green Celtics, Chase in the white. Wilt Chamberlain, regular as a member of the 76ers. And then the Chase, where he finished his career as an older Wilt with the Los Angeles Lakers. And again, with Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points in a game, one of the greatest of all time. Also bear in mind, though, that Wilt Chamberlain went 7'1". And when he was playing basketball back in the 1960s, I don't think there was any other player in the NBA back then who stood 7'1". So he was almost like a man playing amongst boys, at least height-wise. Sure, nowadays, 7'1" in the NBA is common. Or maybe 6'11". Guys like Yao Ming, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwight Howard, they're all roughly about that height. But back when Wilt was playing, no. He towered over guys, and he had such natural athletic ability that scoring 100 points in a game, sure, that was conceivable back then, and he actually did it. And just one of the greatest players to ever take the court, Wilt Chamberlain. I don't know about sleeping with 20,000 women, though, how accurate that is. Another legend here, Dr. J. Julius Erving. There was a member of the 76ers. Reg. Chase Figure is a member of the New York Nets with the white Nets jersey there. There's Knicks great Willis Reed in the blue jersey Chase. There's a white jersey Reg, which I don't have that from my collection. And then down here is Pistol Pete Maravich, one of the great point guards in NBA history. The Reg version is a member of the Jazz. And then where Pete finished his career with the Atlanta Hawks, that's the Chase one there. The Chase version. And here's a man who's still relevant today because you hear his voice as a broadcaster. Bill Walton. White jersey, Portland Trailblazers Chase figure. The Reg has him in a red Trailblazer jersey. Again, I just don't have it for my collection, though. Moving upwards now to this display are some modern NFL Series 13 and 14 from, I believe, the years 2006, 2007. We'll start up here in the corner with Drew Bledsoe, member of the Cowboys there. Only one version of him. He was the Cowboys quarterback before Tony Romo took over in Dallas. Here's Eli Manning's first single-carded figure, Reg in the blue, Chase in the red. The actual rookie Eli Manning figure was in the 2-pack, that box set with Peyton Manning, his brother, that we saw. But this is his first single-carded figure. There's Carson Palmer, the Bengals, Reg in the black, Chase in the orange. Patriots great Teddy Bruschi, only one version there in the blue jersey. Here's Randy Moss, without the helmet on, as a member of the Raiders. And a couple of variations here. Is the pants. This one he's got shiny pants, and here he has like flat gray pants on. So I got both versions because I like Moss. I think he's one of the greatest receivers of all time. And then talking about cool things, here's the Vikings Moss Chase figure with the afro. And I'm gonna blow it up a little bit there. That is just cool. I love when Todd does just cool, unique, innovative stuff like that, and that truly is it. So I had to have one for that in my collection. There's Carnell Williams, former Buccaneers running back, only one version of him. There's Matt Leinart, surprise rookie chase figure. I'm going to circle back on that one because I got just a story for you guys on how that one got into my collection. Here we see Kevin Mawae again, this time a member of the Titans, Toys R Us exclusive. Now we're in Series 14. Shaw Alexander, just one version of him in the all blue. This guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame very soon. Antonio Gates, in just a couple years, I should say. Regular in the throwback powder, and the chase in the more traditional blue jersey. See if we can get better on that one. Yeah. Antonio Gates, tight end. Then down here, we have some more figures. Again, Series 14, got Drew Brees and Reggie Bush. This Drew Brees figure was very difficult to track down. It was a Walmart exclusive, and not all the Walmarts got it in. This is more of Mo from Arizona's handiwork. Mo, have I thanked you again enough in this video? I don't think I have. Reggie Bush, Regan Chase figure here. Reg in the dark, Chase in the white. Yeah, Reggie returned kicks early in his career with the Saints, and that's like a kickoff or punt returning pose there. Great receiver Steve Smith of the Panthers. Reg in the white, Chase in the blue. There's Troy Polamalu. What makes this one the Chase is the snowy base. The regular version had him just in a regular green base, but the snowy base was a Chase. And then here is Derek Brooks. That's a surprise Chase figure in the throwback. They call it creamsicle Tampa jersey. Legendary linebacker there. And now for that story I promised you guys on how this Matt Leinart surprise Chase rookie figure found its way into my collection. Again, let's rewind the clock now back to the year 2006. For those who remember, Matt Leinart was a top pick in the draft that year out of USC. He was considered the future of the franchise at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. And early on in his first year, he looked good, but then after that, he kind of faded, and then Kurt Warner came in and took over. But anyway, the story on how this figure came into my collection. Again, let's go back to 2006. Thanksgiving. And I'm at my grandma's house with my family. My aunts, uncles, and cousins are there. And the upcoming weekend is the high school state championship for football. And it so happens that my old high school, my alma mater, my former high school, is playing in the game, as well as the current high school that my cousin Mike is attending. So it's his high school versus mine. He's still in high school. I'm long out of it at that point. And so, we're being boastful and just, talking a lot of crap to each other about who we think is going to win the game. Obviously, he thinks his team's going to win. I think my team's going to win. And so I said to him, well, how about we make a wager on that? He says, well, what do you got in mind? I said to him, well, how about this? If my team loses, I will shave the back of my head and have a beautician, carve the initials of your high school into the back of my head. And I'll walk around with that, until my hair grows back in. And if my high school wins and your team loses, then for 1 week, which means next week, starting on Monday through Friday, you have to walk around the hallways of your school with my high school's t-shirt on, sporting my high school's, logo colors around your hallway. And so he says, okay, I'll take the bet. So he accepts the bet. So the game's played that weekend, and my team wins. My high school team wins. And so he has to now wear my team's shirt to his, to his school for the next week. So now it's Monday evening, and I get a text from Mike, and it says, "Hey Chris, I'm getting a lot of dirty looks from the student body here, particularly the football players. They're not in the best mood right now, and I got to wear your shirt for the whole week." So I laughed. I said, "Don't worry about it. Just take it off. I don't want you getting roughed up in the hallways and such." And about a week later, a package arrives on my doorstep. And this figure, this Matt Leinart Chase surprise figure, which back then was kind of a pricey figure, it was like $50 back then, because it was the most softer figure in the wave, is in the package with a note that says, "Accept this in lieu of, letting me off the hook and not having to wear this shirt anymore. Just accept this figure from my collection." And so that's how it got into my collection. And you can't make up stuff like that, nor can you put a price on stuff like that. So Mike, thank you for that Matt Leinart, and thank you for allowing me to share that story here. That brings us back to this familiar display that had the cards on there from when I was showing you guys the sports cards. If you bother to watch that video, that segment of the video that had the sports cards. But above the sports cars, and this little like handcrafted shelf that my father crafted for me a long time ago. These are the NFL Series 1 and 2 no helmet chase figures. And if you recall, we had seen these previously, a couple samples of these previously in Showroom B with Edgerrin James and Eddie George. If you guys recall, they were up on my wall in plastic cases, and I kind of gave you the background info on that. How in the NFL Series 1 and 2, that you had super chases or very rare chase versions of the players without the helmet on and with the head sculpt there that you're seeing. And once again, like with these McFarlane sports picks, unlike say the starting lineups, the helmets are not removable. Like you can't just take the helmets off these figures when you purchase them to see the head sculpt. So Todd McFarlane has specifically created a head sculpt on these figures to show you. And these are, again, the NFL Series 1 and 2 no helmet, I guess you would say, super chases. And there's one in the end there of Donovan McNabb, but he's from Series 12. Super chase, no helmet. So anyway, getting back to these, this is Randy Moss, no helmet figure there. Again, you see the head sculpt there. Kurt Warner. That's Mark Brunell. And on the end there is Wayne Corbett. And I apologize, I have kind of limited access or restricted access to these figures because, well, this is kind of in the way. But I'm just trying to show you as best I can here. And then on the top shelf here, see Marvin Harrison there with the head sculpt, no helmet. Warren Sapp with the cornrows. There's Marshall Faulk. And then again, this one's not from Series 1 or 2 of Donovan McNabb. But you see there's a super chase version of McNabb from Series 12, of which we haven't even seen the Series 12 figures yet, but we will. And so I just keep, my NFL Series 1 and 2 no helmets over here because they are considered the rarer and more softer ones. And actually, I'm missing 3 no helmets from Series 1 and 2. The 3 I'm missing are Dante Culpepper and the 2 big ones, which are Brian Urlacher and Emmitt Smith. I never got them from my collection. I had Culpepper at one time, but I traded him for this Moss. I don't know. There was some guy wanted the Culpepper. I thought, I'd take the Moss in exchange for it. He said yes, so we made the trade. I think an old buddy of mine named Jay brokered the trade for me, so thanks, Jay, for that. But these are NFL Series 1 and 2, again, no helmet figures that you're seeing here. That brings us all the way to the top shelf with these 4 hockey figures here. These 4 figures are NHL Series 1 repaints. And we had seen, again, a sample of these previously, and I'm just going to refer back to it over here. It was over here. If you guys recall, there was this red Steve Yzerman. He's part of the NHL 1 Series 1 repaints. And again, there's a white jersey version of him that we talked about that is much rarer, but that's the red jersey version. So now, going back to these again, up on top. So these are part of the NHL Series 1 repaints. Back when Todd released his inaugural wave of hockey, that had Matt Sundin in there and some goalies, he randomly inserted these repainted figures in there. And why are they called repaints? Because the originals on these were those NHL PA figures. Remember the Patrick Waugh we saw up in my bedroom with the autograph next to him, but he didn't have the logo on his jersey. And then I showed you some other loose figures in Showroom B. There was a Ray Bourque. There was a Curtis Joseph. But again, no logos in the jersey. So finally now Todd gets the licensing to actually put the NHL logos on there. And he does that. But he randomly inserts them and makes them pretty scarce and tough to come by and find. And so I acquired some of these from my collection. Here's the Avalanche Ray Bourque. Again, logo and all. From the NHL 1 repaints there. Kind of one of the easier ones to find was this Bourque. As well as that red Yzerman. And you got some of the more difficult ones. Here's Cujo, Curtis Joseph, repainted there with the solid blue Leafs, as well as Patrick Waugh with the Colorado Avalanche logo there. And there's also water bottle variations that have the Leafs and Avalanche logos in the water bottles that are even more rare, scarcer, and therefore more money. And then on the end, and again, I'm trying to get as best as I can here a view of it, is the Bruins Ray Bourque figure, which is probably of the 4 right here considered the most scarce and the most sought after. And just like the Matt Leinart, there's a little backstory in that Ray Bourque, which I'll share with you in just a second here. And so the backstory of how this rare Ray Bourque NHL 1 repaint found its way into my collection. It involves jumping across time here, believe it or not, uh, between 2001 and 2007. So let me start the story. Time-wise, this Ray Bork figure is being randomly packed into cases of NHL Series 1 that are being released to hobby and retail stores back around the year 2001. And that inaugural wave of hockey that contained Peter Forsberg, John LeClair, Matt Sundin, and the three goalies we had seen previous on the wall, Ed Belfour, Jose Theodore, and Martin Brodeur. Those were hitting the stores around 2001. And these repaints, and you see the Bork there, and the Waugh next to him, and the Curtis Joseph, and the other Ray Bork, and the Steve Yzerman, I showed you all those. They're being packed in those cases. But when I pulled this Ray Bork out of a case, it was not in the year 2001. It was actually in the year 2007. And more on that in just a second. So now the story takes us to this wave of figures you're seeing here. And I showed you this wave of figures in the video when we first got down in the basement. To establish again, this wave of figures is a Canada exclusive wave of NHL figures, Series 8, that was originally released back in the year 2004. Okay, now we fast forward 3 years, it's the year 2007. And Todd McFarlane in 2007 decides to issue something called a mystery box to members of his Collectors Club online through the Spawn site. And what the mystery box will consist of is you will get, I believe it was 6 regular figures from this 2004 Canada wave. I guess maybe Todd had excess of these figures laying in his inventory and he wanted to get rid of them. So you get 6 figures from this wave, regular figures. You will get 1 random chase figure from this wave of Canada figures. And now for the big kicker, the big draw, you will also get in your mystery box 1 randomly inserted NHL 1 repaint figure. And that was supposed to be the big draw. And again, just kind of gauging a spectrum here on the NHL 1 repaints, which again were released 6 years earlier. So it's like Todd's opening the vault now and reissuing NHL repaints. On the low end of that spectrum, you could pull the red jersey Steve Yzerman or the Colorado Avalanche Ray Bork, which again I already have in my collection, as well as all these figures you're seeing here. They're all in my collection already from 2004, so it's not like I really need them. And then on the high end of that NHL 1 repaint spectrum would be the Anaheim Ducks Paul Kariya repaint and the Chicago Blackhawks Tony Amonte repaint. Those, the Ducks Kariya and the Blackhawks Amonte are considered the cream of the crop of NHL 1 repaints. Even to this day, each one of those figures will sell for about $300 in mint condition. And those were, again, the top 2 from the NHL 1 repaints that you're maybe hoping to get in your case. So once again, you lay on your money, it was like $70, $80. You get your mystery case. You get the regular figures, 1 chase from the Canada wave, and 1 randomly inserted NHL 1 repaint. And you're pinning your hopes that it's going to be a good one. So I plunked down my money. I decided to roll the dice, take a chance, even though, once again, let me reiterate, I already have all these figures in my collection. I'm rolling dice on that repaint. And so the case arrives. And it's in this seal blue tape. And it arrives at my house. And I think to myself, who do I want to open this case? Well, I want the luckiest person I know. So that'd be my cousin Mike. Not the same Mike of the Matt Liner, wager story, but a different cousin Mike. Because he was the luckiest person I know, probably still is. And so anyway, I bring my case over to his house. And I say, Mike, I want you to open this case. And I didn't really give him any information or anything. Just open this case and see what we pull. And so I hand him a box cutter, and he agrees, and he pops the case open with a seal blue tape, for those who know. And so Mike pops the box open. He's pulling the figures out one by one. And there's the 6 regular figures that you're seeing there. The Belfour, the Chelios, the Robitaille, the Lalime, the Gary Roberts. And those were all expected. And I already had them in my collection, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I could find a way to just trade these figures away for some other regular figures that I need. Probably won't get much for them, but okay. And then after he pulls the 6 regular figures out, he pulls out the chase figure from the wave, the NHL Series 8 wave, and it's the white jersey Chris Chelios. And you see it right there. It's on the board. It's on the top row, 4th figure from the left in the white Montreal Canadiens jersey. So that was the chase figure I got from the NHL 8 wave. Okay, fine. And now for the NHL 1 repaint figure, which is the last figure he's pulling out of the case. And he pulls the Boston Bruins Ray Bork NHL 1 repaint out of that case. And when he pulled that figure out of the case, I practically lost it. I just jumped for joy in it. We were in his bedroom. I jumped for joy in his bedroom. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you pulled me the Bruins Bork repaint. And he's just sitting there with a confused look on his face. And he says to me, "What is that, good?" I said, "Good? That is great." And I'm trying to think of a way I could put it in terms that you can understand. Now, my cousin Mike's a professional poker player. And so I said to him, "This is like laying down a full house, aces rolled up over kings. This is like the third best figure you could have pulled me after the Ducks Korea and the Hawks Amani repaint." And again, I'm just in total elation, celebrating, hugging him, practically wanting to kiss him. And and my cousin Mike was like, "Oh, okay, well, glad I can help you out there." And again, to this day, I claim that the reason why there was a Bruins Bork in that case was because Mike was the one opening it up. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And thank you, Mike, for pulling me the Bruins Bork NHL 1 repaint. So now we've seen the sports figures on these displays here, as well as this one. We took a look at all this stuff. And that brings us now back to the wall. And what's back here, essentially behind those displays. Not really too much back here, but I'll just show it to you. A few kind of leftover starting lineup football figures from 1999. There's Mark Brunell, you see, Drew Bledsoe, Troy Aikman. And these are actually, we've seen these upstairs in showroom A. And the reason I didn't get these off the corkboard they're affixed to and bring them upstairs with the others is because in order to do so, I would have to remove all of these Hot Wheels you're seeing on this board in order to get these bottom 4 figures off. So for that reason, I just left them there. And then below those figures are some other starting lineups, football ones. Here's from a Legend series. Kind of a cool looking figure here. That's Vince Lombardi. And again, when I saw that at Toys R Us, I just had to have it for the collection. He's such a legend. And a couple other Packers legends over here. There's Ray Nietzsche with the bald head. And below him, Bart Starr. And then a couple other cool figures up here. These are from the Heisman Collection series of starting lineups of the late 90s. There's a cool one of Charles Woodson. Remember the Michigan Wolverines? The only defensive player to ever win the Heisman Trophy. True enough. And next to him, former Heisman Trophy winner Barry Sanders out of Oklahoma State. You see him there in the Oklahoma jersey. I remember this Sanders was probably one of the first, 25 or 50 figures I acquired from my collection. And this is way back in probably 1997 or 98 when I was still living with my parents at home. I was only 21 or 22 at the time I started collecting these. And I started putting them up on my wall in my bedroom. And my cousin John was in the room one time. And he was just kind of like looking at my figures and checking them out. And he came upon this one. He's like, "Dude, who is that? Is that OJ?" "No, John, it's not OJ. It's Barry Sanders." So, and then over here is a Martin McGuire, Sammy Sosa starting lineup 2-pack. Again, we talked about how in the summer of '98, these two guys breaking the home run record, and how Hasbro just made a plethora of different Sosa McGuire commemorative pieces. And then one other figure here is another Upper Deck All-Star vinyl, this time of Tomlinson, LaDainian Tomlinson. We've seen this of Brian Urlacher, so you should be familiar. This is Tomlinson, the powder blue. And if you recall this, you see it shows you there, Wave 5, 1,000 made, so it's the most basic version, with the flat black being the hardest to find. I actually found this at San Diego Comic-Con, which is not known for their sports figures, but for San Diego. And yeah, I went to Comic-Con. I attended in person in 2008, 2009. And more on that when I show you the other non-sports figures down here. Next to the Tomlinson Upper Deck All-Star Vinyl are some more Upper Deck product here. It's a die-cast Bears cars, a couple Escalades there. Again, these are made by the Upper Deck Company. And it features the three Bears linebackers. I think it's Urlacher, Briggs, and Hunter Hillenmeyer. And the accompanying Escalades there. And here is a Bears player. I'm not sure which Bears player that is. But again, it's got the Bears cars in there. And being the big Bears fan that I am, anytime I would see stuff like this, and maybe even like a Jewel food store where I think would carry stuff like this, would carry these kinds of cars and kind of collectible items like this, I'd pick them up for my collection. And then before I move away, just 3 kind of random bobbleheads here. And again, hard to see them, I know. Apologize for that. There's Joey Harrington. Again, Upper Deck bobbleheads. That's Amon Green, former Packers running back. Then down here is former quarterback Brian Greasy. Still in the same vicinity along the wall here. It's just that I had a come all the way around, just showing you here, and bring the camera over here to this side. And again, the reason being is to show you these figures over here. This display you see right here kind of obstructs the whole thing. And so I'm just showing you these figures as best I can, even though the vantage point's rather poor. But anyway, on this side now, you have the Wayne, a couple other 99 football figures here from starting lineup. There's Wayne Corbett. And I know it's very difficult to see. Next to him is Chris Chandler. And again, those would normally go upstairs with the others, but I have to take all these Hot Wheels off the board in order to do so. So I just left them. Below those guys are a couple of classic doubles, 2-packs of baseball. These are those McGwire commemorative 2-packs from Walmart. There you can see Mark McGwire packaged up with Roger Maris. And here is Sammy Sosa with another Roger Maris in a different pose and jersey. And again, Walmart commemorative 2-packs, the two guys that broke his record in the summer of '98. Below that's another classic doubles 2-pack, Mike Piazza, Derek Jeter. Here is Jim Thome, Sean Casey. And down below is a cool hockey one. That's Brett Hull with Bobby Hull, father and son. And there are a few more classic 2-packs in there. You can kind of see, and again, I know it's very difficult. There's a Chipper Jones there, packaged up with a Cal Ripken. And there are two more classic doubles packs below that. I think there's a Pedro Martinez, Kurt Schilling, and one other. But once again, completely obstructed views of those. I apologize. Because once again, this display here, which we're going to see when we look at the non-sports figures, is pretty much obstructing the view of these figures here on the end. So we'll start at the top here. What you're seeing here is NHL Series 10 figures. Then on the end of the display are a couple of seemingly stray basketball figures here. A Manu Ginobili, a Spurs great, from NBA Series 9. And the reason why these are on the end here is because, I'm taking it down further along the wall, this is the NBA Series 9 that Ginobili came from. You see it right there. And we're going to see that in a few videos. And I couldn't fit Ginobili up on that display. So it's kind of like I had to carry the figure up over here and place it there. But that caused a bit of disruption, because now when you come over here, past the Theodores, you see Martin St. Louis kind of hanging by himself over here on the wall. And again, I was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place when setting this collection up. I wanted to get those two St. Louis figures, stick them on the end over here, kind of where they belong, but then where does Manu go? I have to kind of move him over misplaced where St. Louis is. So like I said, kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. And I just decided, let's have Manu right here as kind of an extension of, again, this NBA Series 9 over here. And then just kind of keep Martin St. Louis over here, kind of maybe out of place, but, you know, again, rock and a hard place. So anyway, we'll just start with Martin St. Louis. He got elected in the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, as rightly he deserves it. There's a regular figure in the dark jerseys, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Chase in the white there. Then you got goalie Jose Theodore. It says Theodore too because it's the second version of him. Kind of a celebratory pose, throwing his gloves up. There he is, regular in the red Habs jersey, Chase in the white Canadiens jersey. There's Joe Thornton. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday too, no doubt about it. Captaining the Bruins, white jersey Reg, dark jersey Chase. And now he's currently been with the San Jose Sharks for a few years now, but he started off with the Bruins, #1 overall pick. This is a cool figure. It's a Mike Modano surprise Chase figure. Back when his days with the Minnesota North Stars, the team that drafted him and he came up with. And you see he's wearing the old school Minnesota North Stars jersey there. So, again, I really like this Mike Modano retro figure. And the next thing are those Manu Ginobilis. I'll just show you those since we're already here. Manu, Reg, dark Spurs jersey, white Chase. Back when Manu actually had the nice big full head of hair. Unfortunately, like me, he went bald. And now this is some NFL Series 15 down here. Peyton Manning, only one version of him. Trey William Thomas, that was a surprise Chase figure. Again, a rare offensive lineman. Brian Westbrook, only one version of him. And Vince Young, Reg in the white pants, and Chase in the blue pants. So I'm going to start at the bottom and kind of work my way up. This is NFL Legends Series 3. Once again, we see, different type of clamshell and packaging here. Now we go to a small square clamshell like we saw in the NFL Series 15. Again, Todd is constantly changing up the way he does his figures, the way he packages them and such. And again, at least we're back to the jersey variations. Here you see John Elway in the dark, modern Broncos jersey and the white Chase version. Here's Bo Jackson. Only one version of him is only McFarlane figure. And again, everybody, I think a lot of people know that Bo Jackson has a really big following. and what could have been with him had he not broken that hip on that tackle. He could have been one of the all-time greats. Really could have. Dan Marino, from early in his career, only one version of him. Here's the Texas Tornado Earl Campbell. Reg and Chase. Reg in the powder blue, Chase in the white. And down here, the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. No Chase on him, but just two different versions of him. One is an Eagle, where he spent the first half of his career, and there is a Packer, where he spent pretty much the second half of his career before finishing off with the Carolina Panthers. This is a Roger Staubach Chase figure. What makes it the Chase is his helmet. See the red, white, and blue stripe on his helmet? That makes it the Chase figure. The regular didn't have that, just had a basic helmet. So that's a Staubach Chase. And then down here are a couple exclusive figures. These are Super Bowl exclusive figures from the Super Bowl show. And yes, they were brought to me by Mo again. And Mo, I'm trying to, if Karma's Carol Baskins, Mo, I'm trying to think of how you figure into this to try to make you internet famous. Anyway, this is from the Super Bowl show when the Super Bowl was held in Arizona. Even though the Cardinals were not playing in the Super Bowl, they just made Cardinals figures. There's Larry Fitzgerald. And as you see, is exclusive 1 of 5,000. And at that time, his wide receiver teammate, Anquan Boldin, of which, no, there's no doubt Fitzgerald's going into the Hall of Fame. I think we all know that. And I think this guy, too, Anquan Boldin, should be in the Hall of Fame someday. Look at his career numbers. These were two great receivers of their day. And this is a John Riggins. It's one of those Canton figures. Remember I told you guys I made the trip 3 summers in a row in 06, 07, and 08 out to Canton, Ohio for the figure. Well, this was the last one I got. John Riggins, the Canton exclusive. We saw Riggins earlier in the white jersey. Here he is in the dark Redskins jersey. And once again, I got that at Canton. And this was the last Canton figure offered by Todd. There will be no more Canton offerings after this John Riggins. And again, I believe that was the summer of 2008. Sticking with NFL Legends here. This is NFL Legends Series 5. Notice the packaging change. We go from the small square plastic clamshell to the cardboard and the affixed clam there. And there we see Randall Cunningham of the Eagles, where he began his career. Just a cool figure there. Nice green jersey. We saw him earlier as a Minnesota Viking, the Chase figure. Here's Archie Manning in black jersey, white pants. We saw him in the 3-pack with his sons, where he had white jersey, dark pants. Dan Marino here, Reg and Chase, Reg in the teal, Chase in the white, second version of him. Down here is Packers great Bart Starr, white jersey Chase. There is a regular with the green jersey, I just don't have it in my collection. That's the white jersey Chase figure Bart Starr. There's Barry Sanders, we've seen him already, but just now in a different pose. A Chase version exists of him, and it's a Super Chase. And it has him with blue pants on. And there's only 20 made in existence. It was serial numbered to his jersey number. Anytime you find a Super Chase back in the day from these waves, it'll be wrapped in the Spawn blue tape, and of course numbered on the base for any lucky collector that would find him, maybe in a sealed case or on a peg at the retail store. Obviously, I was never one of those lucky guys to find the blue pants Sanders Chase, but I was happy with this one. This is just a very nice figure. I really like this one. There's Steve Young, only one version of him in this wave, red jersey. I'm going to take you over here and show you some. These are some exclusives. Here's a couple of Joe Montana exclusives. These are both Toys R Us exclusives. There is a member of the Chiefs in celebratory pose. And here's a member of the Niners in celebratory pose, white jersey. And you can see this one actually has a Toys R Us sticker, whereas this one didn't. But yeah, both were available only through Toys R Us. And then a few more exclusives up top here. Brett Favre is a member of the Vikings. This here purple jersey was a Toys R Us exclusive. This white jersey Favre was an online exclusive. I don't specifically remember which company offered it online. I just remember it was an online offering only. And this Kurt Warner, as a member of the Cardinals, was a Spawn Collectors Club exclusive. Spawn Store Collectors Club exclusive. And yes, Mo from Arizona. Yes, that's Mo from Arizona there. Thank you again, Mo.